Hello everyone, this is JavineS83 and today I'm going to be bringing you a video on a game I wanted to talk about for a long time, Lupin the Third Treasure of the Sorcerer King for PS2. This is a game that I picked up back when I was a kid because I really liked Lupin and I saw the cover and it looked really cool, even the back of the cover, and that was how I chose my games back then because I didn't have internet, so if a game looked cool I was going to pick it up. So I didn't know what I was getting into when I picked this game up. I didn't even know it was a stealth game or anything. I just remember that the game was kind of difficult for me because I needed a guide for every single level of the game, every single thing that I did. But now that I'm older, I'm a bit more knowledgeable. I think I can get through this game without using a guide. Spoiler alert, I'll still use a guide. But anyways, I'm hoping that this will be a nice experience and we can talk about it for a little bit. So here we go, Lupin the Third, Treasure of the Sorcerer King. Now I'll leave you to enjoy the last few seconds of this amazing opening. So the first scene of the game, we're at a train station, and we're about to be introduced to a whole lot of characters that will take place in this story. First character is Teresa, the schoolgirl that is waiting by the train watching all the workers work because, as she says, she likes watching people work hard, I suppose. She is the owner of the two pictures that are on the train that Lupin and gang wants to steal. And the reason those guys want to steal those pictures is because, well, they're shiny. Well, at least that's the reason for right now. We'll go really in depth later on as to why they need those pictures. And we're also introduced to Zenigata, the old lovable guy that loves to chase Lupin across the world. Zenigata comes onto the scene and promises Teresa that he will protect the pictures and her from Lupin and gang. He even shows them pictures of them to show that these guys are bad, but Teresa sees it and she likes Lupin, so there you go. Anyways, this is a nice introduction to the story so far. It gets more in-depth and there's a lot more to it later on in the game, but for right now that's all you need to know. So in the next scene, Jigen wheels us into the train and then gives us a nice goodbye before he lets us off and to do what we please. And then Lupin emerges from the statue in his glorious ways.
Man, modeling's not nearly as glamorous as it looks.
So after Lupin successfully emerges from that statue, he gets a call from Jigen, and Jigen pretty much tells him that cops are all over the train and they're the only ones on the train. So Lupin's gonna have to work his way all the way to the pictures himself. He'll have to get through 10 cars to do it, so we have a lot of work ahead of us. And after that conversation with Jigen, we are thrown into the game. So when you first start the game up, they'll teach you all the basics. You can tilt the left analog stick in any direction slightly and Lupin will walk, and if you hold it in a direction, he'll run. And Lupin controls very weirdly, almost robotically, so it's not very smooth the way he runs and walks. You can probably tell just watching me run around in circles and turn very fast, and his crouching is very weird. He goes into like this strafing motion, like if you crouch in pointing out a direction, he won't stop looking in that direction while moving back and forth. It's like he's strafing kind of. I forgive it since this is a very early PS2 game, but just giving you an idea of how the crouching is in this game. It's not perfect. And also this game is kind of funny because it has rolling in it, and the rolling is very Dark Soulsy. It's kind of funny actually. Lupin Dark Souls edition, here we go. So I hope you like looking at the cops in this game because you'll be seeing a whole lot of them at the beginning of this game. So they're about to teach us how to use weapons. And to use a weapon, you hold R1 to set it up and you press square to shoot. Right now you're equipped with the liquid web gun and you can use it to put guards to sleep. But before we can test it out, even though they just taught us it, they're going to teach us how to pick up items. Press X to pick up items. And so you'll be needing to know this next section. They teach you how to view objects in the menu, and you'll be doing this a whole lot because a lot of the passcodes in this game, you need to be investigating items and really need to put your brain to work. Trust me, I used the guide in this game for a reason. So we're finally going to use that gun that they just taught us how to use a couple of seconds ago, right? Nope. They're going to teach us how our enemies will see us. If you get a question mark, they will be curious about you. And if it fills all the way up, they will become suspicious and they will try to attack Lupin. And when that starts happening, an escape gauge will appear, and if you run away, it will eventually go down, and if you put the guard to sleep, it will stop. If the meter goes all the way to danger because you've been discovered too long, the game is over and you have to do a continue. And I'd like to mention that when this escape music starts, it is really good. Can you hear that right now?
Hey, it's Lupin!
Yeah, that sounds really, really good. I have to give them kudos for that. So if you ever get discovered, at least you'll listen to a good song while it happens. Now we're introduced to the ammo used for the liquid gun, the sleep cylinders. If you thought the gun would have unlimited ammo, well then I'm sorry, but it does not. And you have to be very conservative with the ammo you have in your sleeper dart gun because it can run out fast if you get discovered a lot. So now it's time for them to teach us about the camera. Yikes, and the camera in this game is not good. If you press the L1 button, you can go into first person mode, which you can use to shoot a little bit better. And if you press R3, you can use pan camera mode or rotate camera mode. I appreciate them putting two different modes of to use the camera in this game, because the camera in this game is not good in either way. Sadly, in closed spaces, the camera just goes all crazily and wonky and it's just pretty bad. I do appreciate that the game tried to compensate for it by using rotate and pan, but it just doesn't work out in closed spaces. Luckily, this game doesn't have too many closed spaces. It's only in the train level and a little bit further into the game when you get into this castle, but for in large open areas, it's pretty decent. Now it's time to talk about the game's biggest feature, disguises. I hope you like seeing Lupin in all these different disguises because he'll be looking like that throughout most of the entire game. You won't be seeing Lupin in his classic costume until nearly the end of the game when he starts roaming around killing monsters and stuff. But for right now, they're going to teach you about the different levels that guards see when they see you in disguise. Green means they don't care. White means that they see through your disguise, and red means that they're very cautious of you being around you. You can do different things while you're in disguise. You can press R1 and you'll do whatever the disguise has to throw people off. For example, if you're wearing the policeman disguise like I am right now, if you press R1, you'll salute to an officer and he'll salute back to you, relieving all suspicion he has of you. And if you're using a Zenigata costume, he'll pull out his identity card and all the cops will salute back to him. Which also, I should tell you that pickpocketing is in this game, and I'm not a fan of pickpocketing. I rarely do it unless I have to because it's very hard to do. You have to watch as this gauge at the top left fills up, and once it fills up super bright, you can pickpocket the person and you might get a good item. Most of them just carry Fujiko cards, but anyways, you might get a good item, and I just don't like to take the chance. I just want to make it through the game. But anyways, that's what disguises do. And also, while you're wearing a disguise, you can't use any special items, a gun, or anything. You have to take off the disguise to do so. So I really hope you like pressing that select button because you're going to be doing a lot to go back to regular Lupin to do things like put on those night vision goggles and all the other things only Lupin can do. Since we're on the subject of disguises, I really need to talk about the fault of the system. Since you're going to be using disguises a lot, I really need to give it a good rundown. So one fault of the disguise system is that if you're ever in a room with more than 2 guards, it's going to be really, really bad. You're going to end up in a really disguise action hell where, as for example, in the one I'm showing you, I'm saluting over and over again to these officers I can't even see on the screen. I just see the exclamation point in my radar and I know I have to press R1, and I just end up doing it over and over again, and I just look plain silly. It's just terrible, and they should never put more than 2 guards in a room with you, but they do sometimes. And then also sometimes Lupin can get trapped. After I salute, you can notice that I kind of stop in place. I'm not doing that on purpose. That's just the game kind of forcing me to stop and I can't move. So sometimes you'll see me salute and then I kind of like jitter away kind of. That's because I'm like shaking the analog stick trying to get Lupin to move. I don't know why he just gets stuck sometimes. It's not all the time, just sometimes he'll get stuck. So that's one thing I have to give the game a fault for them to use disguises so much and for it to be so wonky sometimes. It's just not good for the game. So not only do you get weapons and disguises, you also get certain equipment that you can equip on Lupin when he's not wearing a disguise. So for example, the infrared goggles, which are used to look at laser beams that can't be seen by the naked eye. And here comes the first problem I've had with the game's movement. Remember when I said Lupin moves very robotically? Well, sometimes there's these nice little lasers that appear out the ground and you have to dodge roll to not get hit by them or run past them. And with the way Lupin moves, it means a lot of failure. When Lupin fails an action, a puzzle, or something, he does this little funny little ay thing, which is actually pretty funny to listen to, but when it happens to you 18 times, it doesn't feel very good.
Hey, Lupin!
Just wanted to add something I like about this game, but whenever Lupin gets a game over, dies, gets caught, or anything, you get this funny little cutscene that plays out where Zenigata puts Lupin in handcuffs, and then if you have a doll, which you can get from pickpocketing guards or finding them out in the field, you can continue. And if you continue, then Lupin just makes his hand, has a fake hand on the handcuffs and he slips away, and you can continue where your last checkpoint was. There are many checkpoints in the game, so you won't get really far back from where you have been if you ever do happen to die.
Lupin, you're under arrest!
So if you thought all the guards in this game were just one-shot knockouts, then you thought wrong. Sometimes there are special guards that are posted around the place. Like this guard is telling me right now that the guard down the hall is sent there specifically to hunt down Lupin, and he can see through him even though he's wearing a disguise. So this special guard down the hall doesn't take one bullet to take down, he takes 3. Sometimes they put special guards in some places, and later in the game it takes way more than one bullet to put down these people. So this also shows off the combat a little bit more. Shows you just how much these guards can do. They just don't shoot you. They can also charge at you, tackle you. They can hit you with a baton. They do a lot. And later on, the enemies turn into plain monsters, and it's really weird, but right now this is what the guards can do to you. I really like the music in this game, especially in the second level. We went from a little slow music in the first level to going to full classical music in the second level, which I was really blown away from. The second I opened that door, I was like, whoa, that's what this level is going to be sounding like throughout the whole thing. The only bad part is you have to listen to Lupin's little click-clack from his shoes, but shoot, it sounds amazing still.
What is it?
So how can I get this far into talking about this game without talking about the puzzles? This is the second thing that you will mostly be doing throughout this game. Sometimes the puzzles can be super simple and super easy, like in the first level where the password is you literally in the level or on a sheet of paper for you to find and enter into a keypad, and sometimes you have to go on a big huge scavenger hunt and look for the code yourself, or sometimes they have it hidden away in riddles for you to find. I don't believe the puzzles in this game are very hard. Like, it's not like they don't explain them to you well or anything like that. I'm just not a very smart person for this kind of thing, so I mostly just look up a guide most of the time. Trust me, people, no shame in doing it. It just makes the game go a whole lot faster. But the puzzles can be fun if you're really into like putting your head into it. So yeah, those are the puzzles for Lupin, and if you do good for a puzzle, you can get Lupin saying his classic heh heh heh. Sounds way more better than him saying ay for you failing most of the time. So a little bit later on in the game, you can finally play as either Jigen or Goemon. You can select which character you want to play as in the chapter, and seriously, just pick Jigen. Goemon really isn't that good to play as. He has ability to block all bullets that is coming in front of him, and he has to run up to people to attack them, and that's really not good in this game, since most of the enemies that you'll be fighting in this little section has guns and they will be firing at you in all directions, so it really isn't good to be blocking whatever is in front of you. So Jigen plays just like Lupin, except you just have to tap R1 and he'll go into his little combat stance and he'll shoot whoever is in front of him using auto target. So it's really better. He's way better in combat than Lupin, of course, and he also shoots faster, and he has unlimited ammo in his gun, so you don't have to worry about bullets. These sections of the games are mostly battle arenas. You just run around and you kill whatever is in front of you. I really enjoyed these sections. Too bad there's only like 2 or 3, but it's really fun. Like I said, pick Jigen, it'll be really good. Don't pick Goemon as much as you would want to. So right after Goemon and Jigen's section, Teresa is found snooping on whoever you were just playing as, and they bring her back to Lupin's base because she wants to talk with Lupin and make a deal with him. It also reveals why Lupin wants these 2 pictures so bad. It's not because they're just shiny like I said in the beginning. Remember when I said this story has a little bit more to it? Well, they're revealing it right now. Lupin wants these 2 pictures because it reveals King Randolph's treasure, which is worth a whole lot of money, and that's what Lupin is really after. You get this little funny cutscene. Well, I say it's funny because all the things that happen, like her not knowing how to use a gun and gun not having a bullet and all that. And she tries to kill herself to show how much she cares about what is happening right now. And holy crap, is that Fujiko? Are we about to play as Fujiko? No, you're not. Spoiler alert, you don't play as Fujiko. As much as I would want to, you don't. But anyways, it gives a nice little more explanation to the story and makes Lupin's adventure to get these pictures a little bit more reasonable. So I didn't mention this during Jigen and Goemon's section, but you fight freaking ninjas, or as Lupin calls them, special forces, but still ninjas. And it's really bizarre, but I guess they needed some kind of enemy for Lupin to use his actual gun on, so I guess this is a good excuse. Later on in the game, you'll be fighting even more of these ninja guys, and you'll be fighting stone monsters, but I don't want to show them off because I don't want to spoil anything for you. Like I said, this isn't a spoilery review or anything. I'm just wanted to talk about this game. But this game gets a lot of save areas which I haven't spoke about yet. To save the game, it'll just pop up. You'll get a little ring-a-ding-ding and you can save the game. The game is very generous with saves, so you'll be saving very often. I remember almost 5 minutes between each save, which is really good, which you'll definitely need, because later on when this game turns into a huge action game, you'll need them a whole lot, which the later part of this game is really not fun since it does turn into a huge action game. Lupin is not meant for combat like Jigen and Goemon. It's just really terrible. I just don't know why they did that. I guess they did that because some people may be getting bored of the stealth and maybe they want some action, but it just doesn't work out because all the monsters are way faster than Lupin, and yeah, it's just not fun. And can't recommend that in part of this game. So I'd like to remind everybody that this game came out in 2002. This is the age where Grand Theft Auto Vice City and Legend of Zelda Wind Waker was coming out. And graphically, I think this game holds up very well. If the controls weren't so robotic and wonky, I'd say that this game would be really great to play for a stealth game. But I believe it's really good as a Lupin game, and if you really need your Lupin, then this is where to come from. And the game does remind you a lot that it came out in 2002. Take it away from me, Jigen.
Only if Teresa's information is accurate.
Do you doubt her?
We should always doubt what women have to say, even sweet girls.
Whew. say a line like that in 2018 and they'd be on the front page of a game article. Am I right, folks? So my final thoughts on the game is that I really enjoyed it because I'm a big fan of Lupin. I thought the humor in the game was really good, and I thought the story was decent enough to keep me going. But the game does have its problems, like the robotic controls, the combat being really weird, and etc, etc. Do I recommend this game to everyone? No, I do not. I believe if you're a Lupin game, maybe you can deal with the problems that the game has and make it through it. Or if you're a fan of stealth games. The game has a lot of puzzles that some of them will make you scratch your head and some of them will be super easy. Like the ones I mentioned earlier where they literally just put the code on the paper for you to find and you just enter it in. But sometimes you will need to solve a riddle, like the little train riddle that they give you super early on that I had to look up a guide for because I couldn't count the numbers on that train or anything. But anyways, I do recommend this game for any Lupin fan out there. And I do hope you enjoyed this video. If you thought this video was nice and I should do some more of these, then like the video, comment below, and thank you for watching.